Hello and welcome to Sacred Strategy. Today's episode is all about the full moon in Cancer and gate 39 in human design and gene key 39. I'm Andrea and I guide women over 40 to strengthen their identity, their confidence, and their business. I use human design, gene keys with a sprinkle of astrology. And I'm going to pass you over to my co-host, Chantilly, to introduce herself.
All right, thank you, Andrea. I am Chantilly, and I use divine feminine coaching, tarot, and astrology to help you create a brand that's in alignment with who you are.
Thank you. And as usual, let's start this episode with Chantilly pulling our cards. Do you have our cards ready for us today?
Yes, we do. And I have my deck from the movie Hocus Pocus because
Okay.
I love Bette Midler. So
Each to
let's
their
see what the
own.
theme right. Let's see what the theme is for the day. Okay, yeah. This is the Knight of Candles, but it's reversed. Okay, because I think that Two of Potions, the Two of Pentacles, I mean Two of Cups, and the four. Is this the four? The Four of Cups reversed. Um, so I feel like this is in alignment with this full moon because the actually Mars is looking at the full moon right now. So it's aspecting it. So I believe it's telling us to take action on opportunities that we might not be seeing. Um, Take action on um partnerships that we might not be seeing, like connecting with people when it comes to business that we might not be we're not, maybe I don't want to say grateful for, but it's like something in front of your face that you're not taking enough initiative to put into action to see that you can really get some type of wealth from it. So yeah, that's what I see.
I felt that one. Yeah, that was kind of a drag.
Uh-oh.
Thanks. No, I really did. Is there any more for the cards?
Yeah, I was just put all three of them together. That because that's what I was seeing. That's what I was seeing with that's connected to this full moon. So yeah.
Okay. And so for me, that, as I said, that was kind of a drag. Um, I feel like this year, 2020, or last year, 2025, because when people watch this, it will be 2026. And so we're recorded in 2025. And
Mhm.
2025 for me was a year, as it's the year of the snake as well. It really felt in alignment with that in terms of shredding and
Mhm.
seeing what was in front of me because I've had so much resources that
Right.
I don't need anything else. And I feel for a long time I was, oh, I need to do this. When I do this, then I'll do that. When I buy this, then
Mhm.
I do that. But I have so much things, not just in front of me, but in my head as well, from my own lived experience, from courses I've been through before, through coaches that I've had. And so that really did, that whole seeing what's in front of you. And not that I was ungrateful, but it could be deemed as seen being ungrateful because for people
Right.
that didn't have it or don't have it, and then I've got all of this in abundance, it's like, what am I waiting for? And I always say
Mhm.
to myself, like, what is my excuse for not being like financially free? I really shouldn't have an excuse for not being financially free with the abundance of resources that I have, especially being a line one in human design, all about the research and I research and I research, but I do too much research and not enough action.
Yeah.
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 So that's
I
how.
was reading, not reading, but listening to this audiobook called $1 Million Weekend. And he was talking about, I forgot the exact phrase that he uses. I think it was now, not how. That's what it was. He was
Yeah.
saying focus on now, not how. And what he means by that is the universe and money works on speed.
Mm.
Okay, so that means when you have an idea, you'll be more successful if you go ahead and take action, then learn your way through it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I've
and
always
that
heard
that helped me get a lot of things done.
okay. Yeah. That saying, success loves speed. Like,
Hmm.
and I feel that's for me. I go fast at doing the research, but not fast enough to implement the work that I've
Yeah.
researched. And so that is the change that I want to see going forward, for
Hmm.
myself for next year, or for I keep saying next year, obviously for 2026.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's kind of in the human design world, the new year, the human design new year doesn't actually start until around January the 22nd. And so we work in cycles, and so, or in transits, and it starts off each year starts off at gate 41. So gate 41 is not until like I said, the 22nd. And for me, it's weird saying like 2026 or the new year, because I'm not really one that sets new year goals and things like that, but there are things that I have been doing. I'm just going to go into what I have been doing, because I know this is what follows our script, what we usually do, and I've just gone straight into
Right.
it. So
Yeah.
what I have been doing, I feel like I mentioned this on the previous episode, is it was around the winter solstice, and I mentioned that I was going to put out a 12-week planner that I created. I created it, but I had to withdraw it in terms of putting it out there, putting the link out there, because that's when I acted too fast. We spoke about success loves speed. I was very
Hmm.
speedy with that. But where am I going with this? So what I realized is that although success loves speed, I have to really be mindful about what it is that I'm like, to plan my speed, and not just put things out there just because now success loves speed, and I haven't been doing things fast enough. And so I feel like me
Right.
saying that I was going to do the planner, um, I really had to pull it back and reevaluate, what does that look like? Why am I doing this? And I know why I was doing this, but then on the weekend, I actually went through the planner myself and made some immense changes. And that just also reminded me of what you just said, because a lot of the time I have a lot of the resources, but I don't actually use them for myself. And
Okay.
yeah, and again, that could be deemed as being ungrateful. Like, you moan about not doing this and not having that, but are you actually utilizing? Are you practicing what you teach? You know,
Right.
and I hadn't been, and so that's what I had. That's this past week or a couple of weeks since we last spoken is really coming down to the nitty gritty. You got so much resources, utilize those resources. So when I utilize the resources of the planner, um I realized there was a lot of things that needed to be changed, and so I've made those changes. And yeah, I've been showing it to people now, and it's like, oh my gosh, are you selling this? So it's yeah, I'm glad I didn't rush to say, oh,
Right.
this is it here. I've made a lot of changes since then. So yeah, so as I said, I know that we talk about what we've been up to this past week, and I feel like because the winter solstice is that whole releasing, and what do you want to see for yourself for the spring equinox, and the spring equinox is like really did work for me, because it's a 12-week year that I'm following that plan. And so yeah, that 12-week planner that I had to rectify and make changes to is going to be coming out. That's what I'm saying, is actually going to be coming out. And yeah, and it just reminded me of that fact of where have you been ungrateful in your areas of your life. And I feel like that has been one of the ones, not utilizing the resources that I have. I don't know if that resonates with you.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it's the reading that I just did and the one that I did for myself yesterday. The one that I did for today, where with the Two of Cups, the Two of Cups is like messages, but it's also like the Two of Cups is is having some type of partnership. Okay. And for me, the partnership is, especially with, I'm having my Mars return right now. So that's me making sure I'm really focused on my actions, and having my Mars return. Mars is also exalted. So it's really strong for me right now. And it's causing me to make sure I'm being really focused. But also with the moon representing the mother, and being in Cancer, and also Jupiter, retrograde Jupiter being in Cancer as well. It's like the mother and the father together. And for me, I've been focusing a lot, and I do believe I talked about this before, but it's the partnership of my divine masculine inside, being in partnership with divine feminine, like working together in, like you're like the Jupiter is about the vision and the strategy, and then helping the mother nurture whatever I'm trying to mother, whatever I'm trying to create. So really bringing that together, because I noticed that I've focused really heavily on my divine feminine energy, not too much on the divine masculine that's kind of making everything happen, putting things into action and strategizing. And so that's where yesterday, that's what the reading I did for myself for the full moon was about: being really focused, being really strategic. And the things that I am feeling really emotional about, which comes especially with the full moon in Cancer, because it's all about emotions, like the things that I'm really emotional about, which have so many connections with me being a mother and my divine feminine energy. I need to take all that energy, be strategic about it, transmute it, and get things done that I need to get done. So that's what it meant for me.
Yeah. And then on that note of feeling emotional, and obviously the full moon in Cancer, gate 39, it shifts our focus away from like action, like you were saying, but more towards like
Mhm.
the emotional truth. So
Right.
yeah, so I'll go a bit more into that. So I've got my notes as always. So if I'm looking down, that's why. So the gate 39 is called the gate of provocation, and it sits in the root center. Now the root center, if you imagine, obviously if you've got your body graph and you know what that looks like, so the root center is at the bottom, and the root center, it's a pressure center. And so with it being a pressure center, you're going to feel that pressure to always want to action, do. um and so it's that pressure through frustration, that, oh, I haven't done enough, oh, I want to be this, oh, this hasn't done, and I haven't been financially free this year, and all the rest of
Hmm.
it. And this pressure exists to expose the misalignment, not to create urgency. So the pressure
Mm,
is to show you where are you misaligned, not to keep doing.
right.
Yeah. And I feel like even though this is obviously for the full moon on January the 3rd, I still feel like I felt a bit of that pressure and I feel like when I read this and that whole exposing that misalignment, there's a what I just said was about that misalignment that was exposed to me. Where have I been misaligned, and what and not to create urgency, but to just slow down and realign myself rather than just
Hmm.
action. So that's gate 49. So it's basically you become frustrated without a real clear reason. So you start round about that full moon time, you might start to get frustrated, and as it being in the full moon in Cancer, that might bring up some emotions for you. So if you start to feel a bit emotional because, oh, this hasn't happened, and I know the majority of people, maybe not so much the people that watch this, because they may align with January the 1st not being the that's the Gregorian calendar New Year,
Right.
but it's
Right.
still a period of time where the refresh happens, and you might start thinking, oh, I haven't done enough, and all the rest of that, and then you might start like the loss of motivation for your goals that you once felt might start to dissipate. Like you might start to wanted to do this and you wanted to do that, and then it's just like, I don't want to do that anymore, you know
Hmm.
and that is
Hmm.
okay. Like, it is okay to have those feelings, and you're going to have that sense of outgrowing those goals or those rules that you once had, and let them go. I felt
Yeah.
personally, for me, a lot of time when I felt like that frustration, until I really started doing this work and actually realizing that as a manifesting generator, my not self, or my is frustration. That's my key word. Like, both of us, frustration is our word. And so I did used to say, like, I'm just frustrated with myself,
Right.
mainly for not being in alignment. And that emotional restlessness, that when you start to get emotional, you start to then get the self-doubt starts to creep in. And you know, but it's okay. Just keep reminding yourself, it is okay to outgrow those old roles and those old decisions and those old goals that you once set for yourself. And for me, as the work that I do within, as you know, strengthening identity, it is knowing that we shouldn't stay in the same identity. We should be evolving, you know. And
Yeah.
as 2025 was the year of the snake, we should be shredding. Like, we should have not should have shred everything, but, you know, start to see those shreds coming off and going into that the year of the horse, and, you know, speeding on fast, going fast onto our new journey. And so, like, it could be that you start to suppress those emotions, but just to stay productive. So if you find yourself suppressing those, like, oh no, I'm okay, but I'm going to keep working, I would advise, you know, don't have to follow what I say, but try not to suppress. Let those emotions come out. Be emotional.
Right.
Cry if you need to cry. You know, and as long as you're releasing it in a safe environment, do so. Just let it, because the more you pent up, the more frustrated you're going to be with yourself. You know, and you might find yourself testing people instead of speaking your own truth. You know, allowing people to say things just because, like, oh, I'm just going to no, speak your truth. If you know that something frustrates you, or this is not how you want things to go, again, if it's in a safe environment, speak your truth in this time as well. So, but then when you start feeling in an alignment, like I said, you start allowing the emotions to come out without needing to be fixed or without needing an explanation. Why am I crying? Because I am. Why am I feeling like this? Because I am. So then we start getting in that alignment, and using that frustration as information rather than as a negative. Yeah. So that's the aligned expression. And then I've also got some notes here for what it looks like, because obviously we're targeting primarily women in business. And so in your not self expression for gate 39, is forcing goals from pressure or expectations. Again, same type of thing. Underpricing or overgiving to avoid that discomfort. You know, we need to let that go, especially as Black women. I find that, you know, we sometimes, or I speak for myself, like, undercharge, or I add this or I add that just to make it.
Right.
But no, what I'm originally given is enough, you know, and losing that consistency because the emotional buy-in is missing. So making sure that that you're consistent with what. So when you're in your aligned expression, especially in women in business, it's making decisions after the emotional clarity, adjusting your office to reflect your current identity. Now, I feel like this is a real important one, because the old identity that we once saw ourselves, oh, we're just a small business, oh, we're just starting out. No, if you've been in business for a while, you're not just starting out. You shouldn't be using that as an excuse anymore. Are you listening? Note to self. And so adjusting things, whether it be your offers, whether it be your pricing, according to this new identity that you're holding, and trust timing rather than forcing the momentum. You know, oh, I've got to get everything out. And this is why I'm actually using the 12-week year plan, because it allows me to have 4 new years in the whole year, if that makes sense. So every quarter, I have new goals. Yeah, between 3 to 5 new goals. And that way I don't have to feel like I have to get everything out all at once. And for me, being a manifesting generator, that works really well for me, because I just want to keep doing. I can do so many different things, but if I even had 5 goals when I did my 12-week plan. I've now crunched it down to 3, and I've crunched it down to being in health, wealth, and relationship, so that I'm really refining how I'm utilizing my time. So that's how I'm doing it now. Gate 39 is for human design. Then we have gate 55 in human design. When you have 2 gates that join together, it's called a channel. And so this then gives you a deeper meaning to gate 39. And gate 55 is emotional waves. And I'm laughing because I have gate 55 as my earth sign. So I have gate 55 in my body graph. And so it's all about gate 55 is all about emotional waves. And when it comes to gate 39 and gate 55, when they become one, it becomes emotion, so emotional freedom. So gate 39 moves from provocation to liberation. So that means that discomfort becomes a pathway to truth and freedom. So rather than being so you start to liberate yourself now. Yeah. So then we have that gate 39 highlights shifts, identity shifts before the confidence stabilizes. So we want the identity, we want to be, know who we are, so that we're confident in who we are. Yeah. So then what else is there? Then it basically just goes from just the same thing. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it is that whole ensuring that you're making decisions after emotional clarity. I feel the most important one is adjusting your office to reflect your current identity. And I just say that this full moon asks for emotional honesty before strategy. Yeah. So the pressure fades once identity leads. Yeah. So once you know who you are and you trust and believe that, then that's not so much of a pressure. But I feel, for me personally, I know the pressure, especially in being in the root center, and that emotional wave for me, it's like, oh, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing enough, because I really had to sit with what's my identity. And as a Black woman in this space, especially in the UK, I didn't see a lot of people who had the identity of who I looked like. Yeah. And so now I say it's identity first, so that I can make the impact, so that I can make the income equals legacy. So identity plus impact plus income equals legacy. Yeah. And so before, my mantra was, impact over income, impact over income. But I wasn't making an impact, and I wasn't making much of an income, because I didn't have my identities part down packed.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so that for me is how I'm going to be sitting with gate 39, is moving away from the action and just sitting with that emotional truth of who am I, or who do I want to be? Who am I and who do I want to be?
Right.
Rather than, oh, I think I've got to do X because this is what, to please. And to be, I think I mentioned this in one of the other episodes, and to be more palatable to other people. No.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's gate 39 for you.
Yeah, it resonates a lot with I believe I talked about this during the new moon, because it really flows really well, because sometimes we don't see the connection between the new moon and the full moon, but it's really clear this time, because the new moon was in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and Sagittarius is all about the truth, and your beliefs. And that's a big part of your brand identity, your brand beliefs. And that has a lot to do with the post I was working on for LinkedIn for this week. And it's about, you can't really be lead from a place of authenticity if you're not focusing on what your identity is, your brand identity. 'Cause you're just willy-nilly, like you said, you're just, all over the place and not really anchored into, okay, what is it I believe? What is my truth? So we have the moon, which is our emotions, with Jupiter, which is our truth. And they're together, and it's asking us to, like you said, what is our emotional truth? We have to get clear on the emotions before we can start moving forward, because that's Sagittarius, following up with the Sagittarius new moon. That's forward motion, moving forward with our beliefs. And with Mars being exalted right now, being really strong right now, and it's causing us to want to get into action on probably a whole lot of different things.
Mm.
And we have to have our beliefs in place so we can, like you said, focus. Okay, what is the and create a strategy with Jupiter. What am I going to get focused on? Because Mars will have you doing all kind of things and a whole bunch of different like, I just gotta go, I just gotta go, I just gotta do it. But you're gonna have to anchor those feelings and anchor those emotions so you can have you when your energy is scattered, you're really burning yourself out.
Yeah.
So that beliefs part really starting in, okay, with the new moon, what are my beliefs? What do I believe? And knowing that's what's going to pull you forward. And then now with the full moon, it's like having more clarity. Now I have more clarity on what I believe. I can release the emotions so that I can move forward even more. You know,
Mhm.
um, with Cancer. It was so much that you said that I was like, oh, yeah, Oh, something else I wanted to say. When I pull up the Four of Cups, we have astrological associations that go with the tarot cards. And the Four of Cups is the and I was thinking about that,
So
like,
it
wow,
cut out just as you were saying. The Four of Cups is
the the moon in Cancer.
okay. All right, all right. The Four of Cups is the moon in Cancer. Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was just like, wow, that's like it's the moon in Cancer. So Jupiter, when Jupiter is with the moon, it has so much um opportunity.
Okay.
Okay, because Jupiter is wealth and luck, and the moon is happiness and comforts, and especially in the nakshatra that it's in is Pushya in Vedic astrology.
Okay.
And Pushya is really connected to wealth and I believe like millionaires and billionaires. Um, but it comes with making sure you're having a structure, making sure you are doing the right things, taking the right steps, because it's ruled by Saturn. And Saturn rewards us if we're like these emotions, these feelings that we're feeling. When you're going through difficult things, difficult situations, Saturn wants to know that you are handling them in a way that makes you that you're responsible, that you're disciplined, that you're honest, that you are structured, that you know your limits, you don't try to do too much, that you're really grounded in being realistic. And that's what gives you the blessings of the of it's ruled by. So Pusha is ruled by Saturn, but the god that rules Pusha is, or the deity that rules Pusha is Jupiter. So it's a lot of connections with um, having expansion and wealth through structure and discipline and strategy and being really, really focused. So even especially through the difficult times and difficult situations. So
Yes.
that that just was like, it's really pushing me to make sure that I am being honest about how I'm feeling right now. There's
Hmm.
no other way for me to go about things because I'm like, because like you said, I was trying to push through it. Like, okay, I feel this way, but I got to do this
Yeah,
to-do list. I feel this way, but I got to do this and that. And it was like, no. So yesterday, because usually I'm really consistent with journal, like I journal every day, but for like the last maybe week or two, maybe week and a half, I wasn't journaling. I'm just like, go, 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 do, 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 do. And it's like, I can't ignore how I'm feeling right now.
yeah,
I can't ignore these feelings. I gotta just be honest with how I'm feeling. Like I'm feeling this way and I'm feeling that way. And how do I uh release these emotions and transmute them so I can get what I want? So I don't want any feelings, any emotions wasted, you know.
yeah.
So how do I change this and not let these feelings or these emotions take control of my life? And um yeah, it's just really being really structured and really focused and being really honest on where am I right now and what do I believe. And I do believe with like with the winter solstice and just a lot of things in my own personal life, like it was a time where like, okay, the old is gone. There's nothing else you can do about it. You can't think the way you used to think. You can't do things the way you used to do. You can't do none of that. It's just new now, and you're just gonna have to figure it out.
That new
This is
identity, right?
right,
Is that
right.
shedding
Figure out.
shedding that old identity. This is the new one, and you've
Hmm.
got to be confident because it's.
Yeah.
You know what I like in this too, and thank you for sharing all that you have done. I just feel like I'm just jumping in there, but
Hmm.
bodybuilding. I had to get comfortable. I didn't know what it was like having muscles and looking a certain way, but I had to get comfortable with that new identity, and it took a while. So that's my obviously I know the situation that you're talking about. So that was I know the different situations, but for me, in terms of getting used to a new identity,
Hmm.
that was my most recent. I want to say most recent one, and then the other one was when I was had a breakdown. The polar opposite identities that I had to get used to, but I didn't want to get used to the breakdown identity, so I did
Right.
what I had to do to get out of it. And so you
Right.
can either stay there or do the work to get out of there. And me
Hmm.
doing the work to get out of that breakdown led me into a new identity, which was the bodybuilding. And then that just, I call it my breakdown to breakthroughs. And that just broke through
Right.
different things. So when we stop putting that barrier up for ourselves and, oh no, I don't know what is, this is what 2026 is going to be the year that I go back into my body, my athlete's mindset. Because
Yeah, and it helped me.
yeah, that athlete mindset is the different type of mindset, and all the self-help books that you read, they all talk about, oh, the athlete's mindset. That I know what that's like firsthand, and I need to get back there. I need to be not so much relentless, but just be on my game, like be obsessed about what I'm doing in a healthy way,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
in a healthy way. Like, oh, you're talking about that again? Yes, I am. That kind of way where you're always talking about the work that me personally, I want to continually talking about what I'm doing rather than hiding that identity away from the external people, because that's not helping me. Because that
Hmm.
financial freedom that I want is not going to come if I'm hiding myself, if I'm not
Right.
trusting in the identity, if I don't have the confidence in this identity that I want to show the world and make an impact with, you know. So yeah,
Hmm.
but that.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about your personal chart that you're talking about being an athlete. And like I said, Mars, which represents athletes,
Okay.
is exalted. So it's really strong right now. And it's in your second house of money. So you were talking about you were talking about talking, which is also the second house is your in branding, it would be like your brand voice, like how you talk, how you speak to your audience. And then you were talking about, I think you said something about money, like
Financial freedom.
financial freedom. Yeah. So that's all. It's connected. So whatever you're feeling about that athlete mindset, that is very strongly connected to where you're at right now in your chart.
And speaking about my chart, the new moon. and the winter solstice was in Sagittarius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year. And my rising is Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius rising or ascendant. And so I don't know, is it the right feels to be feeling? Because I feel like I've been feeling this from since then, like this whole change around and really
Mm-hmm.
like going deep into this identity thing and changing things around with who I am as a businesswoman, how my business is being perceived, and the audience that I want to work with, and
Yeah.
really homing in on that. And that does, and like I said, identity, impact, income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's your eyes. It's focusing on your identity because Sagittarius, like I said, Sagittarius is in your first house. Your first house represents your identity. It's how people see you, and it's ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter
Yeah,
is with the full moon. So it's still connecting. Jupiter is your chart ruler,
yeah,
so it has a lot to do with your identity. So
yeah.
yeah, it's how
And then
it's your appearance, your health, um, your personality, all that. When I work on people's brand identities, I look at the first house.
yeah,
So
yeah, and likewise, with in Gene Keys, your first house or your the sun sign is called life's work. Or if you're looking at it, so if you're looking at it from, there's three sequences, but let's just look at our life's work. So it's called your life's work, and for me, mine's Gene Key 59. Now the shadow of that is dishonesty, and the highest height of that is transparency. So that also feels like I've been dishonest with my identity, and now I need to be more
mhm,
transparent with who I am. So
mhm.
there's so much alignment, and I'm so excited to what's coming next.
Right, right. And it's the emotions that are pushing us to the next level. To,
Yes.
it's and that's what I'm saying. It's the emotions that are, and it's probably because of the, now I'm thinking about it. It's probably the finality of the winter solstice saying like this is it. And then the strong emotions come from, this is unknown territory for me right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pushing us to really really move forward and make changes. And just like there's so much of a strong understanding of, there is like no way I can go where I want to go, really go where I want to go and do anything like I've been doing it.
Yeah.
Like there's no way.
No.
There is absolutely no way.
No.
Like I have to be a whole new person. And it's something that I'm, excited about. But also it's that Saturn ruling push you, and just be like, you have to be really honest about who you've been and where you are now and where you want to go. You have to be
100%.
extremely honest about it.
And just one last thing for me personally is that whole, it's the winter solstice is where it kind of like began, and the spring equinox is when things start to rise and blossom. And I feel like that is like I'm on that this 12-week journey now to
Mm-hmm.
really solidify my identity, be more transparent, be more vocal, speak my truth, and let the emotions just sit where they need to sit, so that in the next 12 weeks the next version of myself, that new
It's like
identity.
coming out of a cocoon.
Yeah, like literally. So I'm so excited, and like I said, to have my own planner that I've created now, that I'm actually going to be putting out there as well. But it's all in alignment. Like they say, nothing
Hmm.
before its time. And it just,
Right.
I don't really sit down to write goals, but this planner, and and not just a planner, but I created a custom GPT to go with it. Me and my AI, like I can't leave my AI out. So I've created a custom GPT to help to use with it, and the way how I've programmed that, it is, I'm like this because like I said, I used it, and it's really helped me to home in. All right, this is what I'm doing. this is what I'm doing for the next 12 weeks. This is what I'm doing. This is my focus for each week. So I can look at my, where is it? Somewhere in here. I can look at my sheet because I've printed out on one sheet. I can look at it and say, okay, this is what I'm doing this week. My main priorities for this week are clarity in what I'm offering. Define, like, I can really be specific about what it is that I want to do. And I haven't been like that for a long time. And again, that comes back to that athlete's mindset. When I was training for bodybuilding, you had to be specific about the meal prep. This is like a meal prep for me. I know exactly what I'm going to eat when I'm going to eat it. And if I don't follow that plan, then when I step on stage, you're going to see it. And so again, that's how I'm doing it. So my competition is March, was it March the 21st? Because the planner, I don't know if you can see it, but the planner, you can put the date that you start. So my one was the 27th of December. And so it calculates your 12 weeks from then. So the 21st of March is my competition that I have with myself. Let's see if I win any more medals.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Wow. That's gonna be awesome to see. I can't wait. I can't wait to
And it's on video.
Screen. Yep. Everybody's gonna see it. They're gonna know.
They're gonna know. They know what that means. They're never gonna know. They're gonna know.
They're gonna know.
So with that being said, I better get on with doing some work. Have you got any like last words for us before we log off?
Yeah, the last thing I want to say is whatever you're nurturing, whether it's yourself or whether it's something in your business or whether it's your actual children, do it with your emotions. Do it with your being clear on what you believe, and do it with structure and discipline. And that's what's going to make it grow, whatever you're nurturing. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Okay, and then I've just leave on one thing. What truth wants naming before action? So what truth do you have to sit with? Like, okay, this is not going to work before you do the action. So don't just do the action, reflect before you actually do it. So, and be truthful with yourself. If you know, like I know it's something small, but I knew that 5 goals for me was going to probably be doing too much. Right. So before I start actioning it and then not actually meeting those goals, I've pulled it back and now put it back to 3. Like, so that's a simple example, but I say it's a simple example, but it could have been not so detrimental, but it could have been the case of me not hitting my goals, because it shows you there's a percentage tracker on here whether you hit your goals or not. It could look like I hadn't hit my goals because I put too many on there. So it's, before I did that action, I had to really sit back and be honest. Just do the 3. So I'll end on that because I can go on talking about it all day. So it's a goodbye from me.
All right. And it is a bye for me. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe and hype us up. And look in the comments I know we're going to put some prompts down there and have some questions to help y'all stay engaged, because we want to talk to y'all. So
if you don't know your human design, I'm also going to put a link in there so you can download a free human design body graph chart and other things. If you go to the website, you can see there's a lot of things you can do for free on there. So I look forward to catching up with you then. So
all right.
See ya.